Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something really universal, something you've probably done countless times, but maybe haven't, thought too deeply about: the art of kissing.
Right. And our main source for this exploration is Hugh Morris's book, aptly named The Art of Kissing.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? How much gets written about, well, everything else, diets, careers, cooking.
Yeah, all that stuff. But kissing, this incredibly fundamental part of being human, Morris points out it's surprisingly underdocumented literature-wise.
Exactly. He notes this kind of gap in guidance for something so key to, well, happiness and connection. Makes you wonder why, doesn't it?
He does offer a theory, though.
Yeah, he points a finger towards maybe the shadow of Victorian thinking.
That kind of sensibility. He even quotes John Bunyan, from Pilgrim's Progress, who seemed to find even an innocent kiss pretty distasteful.
Almost repulsive, the way Bunyan put it.
Yeah, that Victorian view where anything related to love or sex was often, swept under the rug, it definitely could have stifled open discussion.
It really shows how social norms can shape how we talk about or don't talk about even the most natural things.
But Morris, thankfully, takes a different approach, much more open, more inquisitive.
Right. He says his goal is to explore the most approved methods of kissing, understand why we do it, and really get its significance in human connection.
So essentially, we're diving deep into the meaning and, well, the mechanics of a kiss, using Morris's book as our guide.
Okay, so let's start right there. What is a kiss? Beyond just, lips touching.
Well, Morris brings up a dictionary definition first. Something like, a salute made by touching with the lips pressed closely together and suddenly parting them.
Which sounds incredibly sterile, doesn't it?
Completely. It misses the whole point, the feeling.
Hmm.
Morris says, quite rightly, you have to turn to the poets for a real sense of it. People who still have the hot blood of youth, as he puts it.
Ah, and they definitely paint a richer picture. Coleridge talks about nectar breathing.
Shakespeare, so simply, calls it the seal of love.
Hmm. And then there's Martial, the Roman poet. His
Sure.
description is just, wow, so sensory.
Totally. He talks about the fragrance of balsam, saffron, ripe fruit, summer meadows, warm amber, even a bouquet attracting bees. It's a whole experience he's capturing.
It really is a vivid picture. Morris shares other poetic ideas too. Balm of love, love's language, nectar of Venus, stuff like that.
But he makes a really important point after all that,
Which is,
that no single definition can ever truly capture what a kiss is. Because every single one is different.
right. He says, each kiss is different from the one before and the one after. Because the
Mm.
people are different, right?
Exactly. Everyone brings their own feelings, their own history to that moment. So the kiss itself is unique, shaped by that specific connection.
Okay, so we know kisses aren't all the same. There are friendly pecks, family kisses.
Right. All sorts. Religious kisses, maternal ones.
But Morris is very clear about our focus in this deep dive.
Yep. We're zoning in on what he calls the kisses of love.
The kind Robert Burns wrote about the honeyed seal of soft affections, or love's first snowdrop, virgin kiss. Those are the ones we're unpacking.
Which brings us to the obvious question. Why? Why do people kiss in that loving, romantic way? What's driving it?
You might have heard some older ideas. Morris mentions one about some kind of electric current between lips.
Huh? Yeah, he calls that utter nonsense. Charming idea, maybe, but not exactly scientific.
So what's his explanation?
He suggests it comes from something more fundamental, a natural hunger of sex, an instinct, really, just as basic as needing food or water.
Huh. So it starts there, as a basic drive.
That's his view. And then he says that initial hunger kind of evolves or broadens to a desire for companionship, family, marital happiness, but it starts with that core instinct.
Interesting. He does touch a bit on the biology too, right? Tumescence and glands.
Briefly, yeah. Mentions tumescence, the adrenal, pituitary, gonad glands, hormones. Our understanding's obviously moved on since he wrote, but he's linking the pleasure of kissing to these physiological responses.
Sort of partially satisfying that underlying drive he talked about.
Pretty much, it's tied into that pleasurable aspect.
Okay, so we've got the what's and a sense of the why. Now let's get into what Morris calls the approved methods. Where does he start?
The absolute first requirement, according to him.
Let me guess. Love.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Love itself. He argues the most satisfying, the most meaningful kiss happens between two people who genuinely love each other. It's a connection of soulmates, he calls them.
Kindred spirits drawn together. He sees the kiss as the introduction to love, true love, like the first step towards deeper intimacy.
Yeah, the foundation, which is why for him, how you kiss is kind of a big deal.
It's wild to read now, but he also mentioned something about some young women back then believing, well, that kissing could lead to pregnancy.
Yeah, that's quite startling, isn't it? He puts it down to a lack of proper sex education from parents at the time.
Really highlights the need for clear information, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Open communication about these things is crucial.
Okay, so moving on. The kiss as a prelude. Here, Morris lays out some, well, let's say traditional views on male and female roles.
Definitely reflects the era he was writing in. The man is typically portrayed as the protector, the initiator.
The one taking the lead.
Right. And this extends right into the kiss itself.
And get this, according to Morris, for the ideal kiss, the man should be taller than the woman.
He actually gives reasons for that, both psychological and physical.
Okay, let's hear them.
Psychologically.
It's about projecting an image of superiority.
Yeah.
Mental, but especially physical dominance.
And physically.
Being taller lets him, and I'm quoting loosely here, sweep her up, tower over her, look down into her eyes, cup her chin.
Right, right.
And then bend down and plant his eager, virile lips on hers. He paints quite a scene.
He really does. And he contrasts that with the kiss where the woman is taller, calling it, or what was it? Ludicrous banality.
Yeah, like it disrupts the natural order, leaves just the simple lip contact without the proper male initiative.
It's definitely a viewpoint from a specific time and place. Very much rooted in the social norms back then. Okay, so setting the stage for the kiss. Morris gets into the sensory details. What makes it memorable?
Ah, yes. The visual aspect first. He talks about the woman's slightly parted lips, cherry red, framing, gleaming white, even teeth. Calls it quite alluring.
He even mentions a poem, Three Kisses, that apparently captures how captivating that sight can be.
But it's not just sight, is it? Smell is important too.
Hugely important. He quotes John Secundus comparing a lover's kiss to, like, every aromatic breeze that wafts from Africa's spicy trees.
Wow, very poetic. It connects scent and attraction so strongly.
And he gets practical, too. Breath should be sweet and pure, he says, like that aromatic breeze.
What about perfume or lipstick?
He suggests maybe a very light touch of perfume on the lips is okay, but warns against anything heavy. And noticeable lipstick is a no-no.
And teeth.
Absolutely essential that they're clean and polished. Nothing kills the mood faster, apparently.
Makes sense. Okay, so senses primed. Morris then gives this surprisingly detailed step-by-step guide for how a man should approach a woman for a kiss, especially if she's maybe less experienced.
Right, it's quite prescriptive. So the setup. She's seated, maybe against a sofa arm. He sits beside her, kind of blocking her exit, gently.
Okay, then the arm.
His arm goes casually around the back of the sofa first, then gradually, smoothly around her shoulders.
What if she flinches or says no?
His advice is gentle but firm, holding reassuring words. He even quotes Shakespeare, a woman's no, as perhaps not always meaning no in this context.
That's definitely dated advice.
Very much so. Though he does draw a line, says women who scratch or yell loudly are not to be trifled with or kissed.
Implying they maybe don't understand the proper context.
It seems that way. But assuming the arm is settled, the next step is flattery.
The classic compliment.
Exactly. He references Catullus' soft kisses, low speech, suggests complimenting her beauty, and then, this is quite specific, he recommends deeply sniffing her hair, comparing the scent to heady wine or a garden of roses.
Sniffing her hair? Okay, that's certainly a choice.
It's presented as part of the buildup, leading into what he calls the technique of kissing.
Right, the main event. How does that start after the hair sniff?
The moment his nose touches her scalp is the cue, apparently. Purse the lips, kiss her scalp while still inhaling the hair scent, then move to the ear.
The ear. What happens there?
A light brushing motion on the rim, maybe gentle breathing into it. He notes some women find this very stimulating.
And if she pulls away?
Retreat, sniff the hair again, then go back to murmuring sweet, airy nothings in her ear.
Okay. Where next?
Down the neck to the nape. A quick traverse, then a gentle nip, like a mother cat with kittens, he says.
A nip.
Followed by little nips up the neck towards the jawline, near the ear. Then a soft kiss on the earlobe.
This is incredibly detailed.
It really is. Then nuzzle along the jawline until you reach the corner of her lips.
Getting closer.
And he talks about the physical reaction here. Her shoulders might stiffen. He says this shows the lips are a key erogenous zone, sending thrills through the nervous system.
So at this point, as Morris puts it, the kissee knows she is to be kissed.
Pretty much. After that corner of the lips kiss, he says, don't hesitate. move right to the center for the perfect union, maybe a quick glance at her teeth.
The glance at her teeth.
Fleetingly, before his lips descend like what was it? A seagull swooping gracefully down.
Very dramatic imagery. And the kiss itself.
Intense, total immersion. Kiss like nothing else exists, like life itself is in that moment, like it's the only thing you want.
Wow. Okay, big question then. Eyes open or closed?
Morris has a strong opinion here.
Let me guess. Open.
Open. Definitely open. He argues you get an extra thrill watching the beloved's expressions of bliss, tiny wrinkles, little spasms of happiness.
So it engages sight as well as touch and smell.
Exactly. Seeing their reaction, plus the touch, plus the scent of their breath. He thinks it makes the whole thing more intense, more complete.
Interesting take. Now, practicality. What if people have different sized mouths? Does Morris cover that?
He actually does. For smaller rosebud mouths, the technique we just described is apparently fine.
But for fuller lips, like
Yep.
he mentions Joan Crawford.
Right. For more generous lips, he advises against just kissing the center because parts get missed.
So what's the alternative?
Lift your lips slightly, travel around the whole outline of her lips, stopping for firm kisses along the way, then return to the center to, feast.
Feast. He even quotes Tennyson about drawing the soul through the lips with a long kiss.
Yeah, really romantic imagery. He compares it to a bee sipping nectar, a holy communion of the spirits of two soulmates, quotes an old German novel about how transformative it feels.
But the key is not to rush it, right?
Absolutely not. He urges the reader to linger longer than you have ever lingered before. Forget time, just be in the kiss.
He tells that story about the girl who cried when her boyfriend stopped kissing her to breathe.
Yeah. And then references Byron's long, long kiss of youth and love, and even a 15-hour kissing marathon in Chicago.
15 hours. Wow, people can really go for it.
Seems so. He quotes Elizabeth Barrett Browning, too. A kiss as long and silent as the ecstatic night.
And that poem about wanting to die kissing, it really emphasizes the pleasure aspect.
But it's not just about the lips, is it?
No, he stresses physical closeness. Embracing, feeling each other breathe. Bodily contact is important.
And then he introduces the tongue.
Okay, how does that work according to Morris?
After the lips have been joined for a bit, one person slightly parts their lips, touches their partner's teeth gently with their tongue tip. That's the signal.
An invitation for the other person to do the same.
Exactly. And when the tongues meet, he calls it a heavenly union. Describes this rush of emotion, intense physical sensations.
He gets pretty specific about the reactions, doesn't he? For both men and women.
Yeah, he talks about men feeling like clutching, shuddering, panting, and women experiencing languor, shuddering, moaning, maybe even feeling faint from the intensity.
It sounds quite overwhelming.
He presents it as deeply passionate, and that leads into the French soul kiss.
Ah, the classic. What's his take?
He encourages deeper tongue exploration, caressing. Says the French call it a soul kiss because it feels like souls merging.
And why are the French supposedly so good at it?
He attributes it to their rejection of Puritanism, allowing for a more open exploration of sensuality.
So his advice is, learn from the French and the Romans.
Yep, learn from them, especially Catullus, who famously wrote about wanting thousands and thousands of kisses. Morris also makes a point about kissing being free, right?
Yeah, a simple pleasure, always available, even in tough times like the Depression he mentions. People still married, still had kids, still kissed.
He includes a poem comparing one kiss to just a drop quenching thirst, but often being the start of a long shower.
Nice analogy.
Yeah.
He mentions Ben Jonson wanting to die kissing, and John Ruskin wanting continual kisses. The desire seems insatiable.
There's even that long poem he quotes, listing kisses on the eyes, forehead, cheeks, chin, just countless kisses all over the face.
Okay, so after all this focus on the lips, he suggests mixing it up, right? Variety.
Exactly. Time for some variation. He quotes Robert Herrick about love's kiss flitting to the eyes, cheek, chin, ear.
So after a long lip kiss, what does he suggest?
Maybe move to the closed eyelids. Place gentle kisslets, as he calls them, on each one.
Kisslets. Cute. What else?
Run your lips down the nose, pausing for tiny kisses in the wrinkles by the nostrils. If her eyes stay closed, maybe repeat it.
But always come back to the lips.
That's the crucial instruction. Return to the lips. They never get tired of it, apparently. The other kisses are just spice for the main course, the lip kiss.
Okay, spice is good. What about something more intense? He mentions a vacuum kiss.
Ah, yes, the vacuum kiss. This sounds interesting.
How does it work?
After lips meet, you slightly open your mouth, signal your partner with the tongue tip on teeth thing again, then both suck inward, gently, Like trying to suck the juice out of an orange is the analogy.
Whoa. So you draw the air out.
Yeah. Creates this tight seal. He says it's almost painful, but in a pleasurable way. But it doesn't last long because it strains the mouth tissues.
How do you end it gracefully?
Slowly open just a corner of your mouth. Let the air hiss back in softly. Avoid a sudden pop.
And the after effect.
A delicious sense of torpor and lassitude, apparently. Relaxing.
And there's a follow-up.
A suggested dessert. Right after releasing the vacuum, give a tiny, gentle kiss on the lips, which might feel almost bruised. It's like an act of sympathy, he says, strengthening the bond.
Okay, that's quite the technique. What about kisses that don't involve lips at all?
He talks about the spiritual kiss exchanged through intense gazes, notes that Latin cultures appreciate this.
He quotes that Spanish poem, right? Kissing with eyelids, eyebrows, cheeks, hands, the whole being melting into kisses.
Yeah, it's about that deep connection you can feel just through eye contact, even across a room. Love flowering through looks alone.
Then there's the eyelash kiss.
Yeah.
What's that?
A tender little variation for after more intense kissing. You lie back, look at each other, then one person leans over, cheek to cheek, and lowers their eyelashes to gently mesh with their partner's eyelashes, one eye at a time. Then flutter them slightly.
Fluttering eyelashes together.
Creates a unique sensation, he says. A pleasant, provocative, but not exhausting bypath in the meadows of love.
A bypath in the meadows of love. Okay, now something that sounds contradictory. The pain kiss.
Right. Seems odd, but he explains it by saying human nature is variable and sometimes mild pain can be perceived as pleasure.
He mentions masochism and sadism briefly.
Just as extreme examples, he suggests normal people have tiny echoes of those desires, which is why they might enjoy a pain kiss.
Which he defines as...
basically a tiny bite, a love nip.
He quotes Casellus again.
Yeah.
About keen love bites scarring his lip.
Yeah, and Horace, too, writing about a fierce, fond boy marking lips with his teeth. He's making the case that this isn't abnormal. Even poets write about it.
So the nip kiss is just that.
Yeah.
A playful bite.
Exactly. Not ferocious, just like nibbling something tasty on the nape, cheek, or lips. Just a nip for pleasure.
And why all these variations? The nips, the eyelashes?
He puts it down to man's questing nature and avoiding boredom. Even the main lip kiss, the pièce résistance, can get old if it's all you do.
Like eating filet mignon every single night.
Precisely. You lose appreciation. Variety is the spice of love and kissing.
Does he suggest other simple variations?
Yeah, a couple. Brushing closed lips across the partner's entire mouth, corner to corner,
Okay.
or slightly parted lips, with the tongue tip just in the groove between them, brushing side to side. He hints there are hundreds more possibilities.
So it encourages creativity.
Mm-hmm.
What about the delayed action kiss? Is that a variation or a technique?
More of a technique, really, building suspense.
Like the fox and the grapes, he says, making it seem unattainable.
Sort of. The idea is, just as you're about to kiss, you pull back slightly, hold your lips ready, maybe smile tantalizingly.
Teasing them a bit.
Exactly. Until the suspense is almost unbearable. Then, slowly lower your lips and finally deliver the kiss. He says after that, instinct takes over.
Okay, now for something really out there. Electric kissing parties. Was that really a thing?
Apparently so, a peculiar historical custom. Shuffle your feet on a carpet to build up static.
And kiss in the dark to see sparks.
That's the idea. He even suggests trying it today on a cold, dry night. Shuffle, don't touch, lean in slowly till a spark jumps between you, then kiss immediately. Takes practice not to flinch, he warns.
And he mentions using vibrators or other devices.
Yeah, for a more potent but controlled shock. Like those old shooting gallery things with coils. Each person holds a pole, lips get close, turn up the current slowly with the rheostat. Spark jumps, then kiss.
But he gives a very strong warning, doesn't he?
Absolute critical warning. Do not use household current. He tells a story about a friend who tried it.
And it ended badly.
Very badly.
Yeah.
Painfully. So, stick to static or very low voltage batteries if you must try it.
Duly noted. Okay, moving to safer ground. The dancing kiss.
Yes. Much more conventional. The closeness of dancing enhances the pleasure. Dim lights, waltz music, embracing cheek to cheek.
Sounds romantic, but maybe not full-on lip kissing in public.
Right. Etiquette usually limits that. But Morris suggests you can steal surreptitious kisses on the earlobe, cheek, chin while pretending to whisper. Covert eye kisses are also possible.
Like foreplay on the dance floor.
Exactly. Building anticipation for more passionate kissing later, at home, he quotes Sir John Suckling's poem about dancing and kissing.
Nice. What about the surprise kiss?
Oh, he presents this as quite charming. One partner is asleep, maybe on the sofa,
And the other sneaks in.
quietly enters, places a very soft kiss on their lips, starts light, then gradually increases the intensity to gently wake them up and keep going.
What's it like for the sleeping person?
Dreamlike at first, a faint touch, like a butterfly wing. They might think it's just part of a dream.
And then realize it's real.
Yeah, maybe feel a bit sad at first, thinking it's only a dream of their lover. But then the kiss becomes more intense, more ardent, and as they fully wake up, it brings this huge rush of gratification. Heart flutters, pulse races.
They might even wonder if they are truly awake before opening their eyes.
Exactly. Morris claims no awakening can be more pleasurable.
Sounds pretty nice.
Hmm.
Okay, getting towards the end of his list. Mistletoe.
The Christmas tradition. Kissing under the mistletoe. Origins are a bit murky, he says.
But the rule is clear, right?
Yep. Woman stands under it. Any man present can kiss her. No permission needed. No apology expected. Social convention just looks the other way.
A brief window to, as he colorfully puts it, smack her to your heart's content without being socially ostracized.
Quite the phrasing. He also mentions kissing games.
Like post office or kiss the pillow.
Yeah. He points out that these games basically legitimize kissing, make it socially okay, even encourage it in private, like in post office.
Why did they persist, even in stricter times?
His guess. Because fundamentally, man and woman must kiss. It's a basic human need that finds an outlet.
And that leads to his final point about kissing being uniquely human, doesn't it?
Yes, a really powerful observation. He says mankind is the only animal that uses the kiss this way, to express love and affection consciously.
Contrasting it with dogs licking, horses rubbing noses, birds nestling.
Right. Other animals show affection, but humans appreciate the kiss, its charm, beauty, pleasure, fulfillment. Nature kisses metaphorically, he says, but we do it with understanding.
And he wraps it all up with that Shelley poem, right?
Beautifully, comparing all the kisses in nature, mountains kissing heaven, waves clasping each other, flowers and sunlight, moonbeams and the earth.
And then asks that incredibly poignant question, what are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me?
Puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? All the technique, all the history. It comes down to that personal connection.
So, wow. We've covered a lot of ground today, diving into Hugh Morris's art of kissing, from the passionate to the playful, the technical to the electric.
It really shows kissing isn't just simple. It's this complex art form, layered with emotion, history, even some pretty specific instructions, according to Morris.
Definitely. The key takeaway seems to be just how multifaceted it is.
Which leaves us with maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Thinking about all this variety, all this depth, how might you maybe see or appreciate your next kiss differently?
Or perhaps, going beyond all the techniques Morris lays out, what do you think is the most crucial ingredient for a kiss that really stays with you? Something to ponder.
Absolutely. Keep exploring the topic, maybe reflect on your own experiences.
Until our next deep dive, keep those thoughts and perhaps, as Morris might suggest, those lips engaged.